So you work with fire, chains, and costumes.
That is what I do.
What kind of business is this?
Ashley Bertling is the girl on fire. No, not that one, but this one. She's the owner of Pyrotechniq, a traveling troupe of fire twirlers.
When you think about fire, you've been raised your entire life being told not to play with that.
Yep.
And instead we go, oh, well, but what if we do play with that?
And we learn a lot.
It started with me attending the rave scene in Iowa.
Wait a minute.
There are definitely little parts of the body that just disappear. It's mostly hair.
Cheaper than waxing. What have you learned about yourself in building a business?
That I am capable of doing much more than I thought I was.
As for me, not so capable.
I'm a samurai
Now turn
on fire.
and whoop chow.
So light 'em up and enjoy the heat.
Yes, huge flame scene.
Flamers
It's
left
usually
and right.
propane.
This is 30 Minutes with Ashley Bertling.
Ashley, welcome to 30 Minutes With.
Thanks.
So you work with fire, chains, and costumes.
That is what I do.
What kind of business is this?
Well, it's actually one that is not as dangerous as it looks.
Okay. And we'll find out. We'll find out about that because we're going to be spinning some flames, like metaphorical flames.
Metaphorical flames.
Yes,
Yeah, we're
yes,
at least
yes.
going to get the feel for what it's like.
What's time?
Not much.
Time is a circle. But what is Pyrotechniq?
So Pyrotechniq is a full-service fire performance entertainment company.
I mean, were you always a pyromaniac?
I mean, if pyromaniac is synonymous to thrill seeker,
Okay.
then I would say yes, 100%.
What kind of services though do you guys provide? I mean, it's because when you see your videos, it's like straight up, like it almost looks like you guys are making art though, and it's like a mixture of fire and dance and a display as well.
Absolutely, and people think that it's wonderful on a stage. So we do a lot of stage shows.
Okay.
We do everything from like backyard barbecues to adult parties, festivals, full-fledged 21 plus, or just turning 2.
What kind of costumes are you guys wearing? Now that you say adult parties, I'm like curious. Like, what does adult mean in that sense?
So, I mean, that depends on the event. So, well, adult in this sense, we do a lot of nightlife.
Okay.
So nightclubs,
Okay.
Plenty of skin showing, which is actually fabulous when working with fire because clothing is much more flammable than your
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you prefer to twirl fire naked?
It's actually in the NFPA 160 that people can perform flames bare skin.
Okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a preference because there is something to having a costume and taking on a character that's really fun.
So you are the real life girl on fire.
Yes.
That's you, Ashley Everdeen.
I never asked for this.
What have you noticed that all fire enthusiasts have in common?
They're all a little rebellious. I would say they're all a little rebellious. So when you think about fire, you've been raised your entire life being told not to play with that. Don't play with that. Don't touch it. It will hurt you.
Yep.
And instead we go, oh, well, but what if we do play with that?
Right.
What'll happen, right?
What do you think is the most rebellious thing about you?
I guess in the city of Chicago, specific to fire, is that it's technically illegal. There's a lot of illegal fire that takes place in the city because of the permitting.
There's a whole show on NBC about it.
Oh, is there?
Well, Chicago Fire.
Oh, Chicago Fire.
1, 2, damn it, Casey, 3.
We didn't actually realize until 3 years ago, I've been in this for 14 years, we didn't realize until 3 years ago that all of the things we do have to be permitted by the city. So we've been doing this all technically illegally.
Oh, so that's rebellious.
So I guess that would be the rebellious factor.
You're like,
I
I've been breaking the law for 15 years.
Yes, doing this thing I love is illegal, apparently.
Okay.
I'm now licensed and, play it
Okay.
all by ear, or not by ear, but play it all by law. But
What has happened? Anything crazy ever happened to you while playing with fire?
I mean, I definitely get my hair cut a little more often than I'd like to.
You've had your hair catch flame?
Yes, but it doesn't fully catch
Right.
flame. It just kind of singes.
Right.
When hula hooping around the neck, there are moments when if you breathe in while the hula hoop is going around your neck, that you kind of get a poof of all your nose hairs disappearing.
Okay.
So there are definitely little parts of the body that just disappear. It's mostly hair.
It's cheaper than waxing.
Yeah, it is cheaper than waxing. It's the cheapest spa package I think I've ever paid for.
How is working with people and fire better than working with people without fire?
Working with people and fire requires an immediate perfection. There is no time to mess up. You have to be on and you have to be accurate. So that's exhilarating. When you don't have fire, there's less of an immediacy to do it right. So there's just more mistakes when there's no fire.
Do you carry that with you in day to day?
Yeah. I'm a very immediacy type of person. I'm like, let's get it done, let's do it right, let's move on. But that's also part of being a business owner.
Has anything ever gone wrong? Now that we know there's permits, because it is, I mean, it's not the safest thing you could do.
Correct.
What's the craziest thing, or what has been the biggest error that you've been a part of?
So before we went down the safety route, when we were just backyard spinners, I'll call it, hobbyists, making $50 to go to some little festival,
Right.
there was an experience that we had where we didn't realize that we were supposed to have all of our fuel in their appropriate containers. And a fire breather friend had a plastic cup of fuel while they were performing, and it was live, and another friend's performer's fire tool caught that cup on fire, and it spilled onto their hand and onto the ground.
Oh.
So the safety aspect of this is extremely important. I mean, that was in the first 3 years of...
It's like a casual Molotov cocktail, I think, is
right.
what that was.
For show, for
yeah,
the stage.
For sure. You're like, but now we have permits, and
Right.
that doesn't happen.
Yes. Yes, and I've developed, I've been a key component in developing the safety procedures for the fire arts for the past 7 or 8 years.
How many people do you have in your dance troupe?
So the fire portion of the dance troupe has 6 core people. We have 4 people that we consider satellite who will call in to fill in when we need a
Right.
10-person show. But the entire cast, including the aerial artists and the table lady costumes and all of that, is more like 20.
What kind of training does that require? I imagine it to be like as rigorous as like maybe learning how to become like a hibachi grill chef.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's not YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube is not where you go to get trained to
don't
spin
get
fire.
trained on YouTube for this, you guys. Yes. So I mean, how do you teach fire twirling?
Well, we start without fire. So first you learn the moves.
Okay.
And once you can successfully spin these props around your body without hitting yourself,
Okay.
I then begin to introduce you to fire.
All right.
And that starts with safety first.
Yep.
Go through the whole process, make sure you're wearing the right outfit, the right types of fibers, and then we get into the actual lighting of things.
Any regrets chasing this fire dancing dream of yours?
I actually moved to Chicago so I could pursue this dream, and right now the business is doing the best that it's ever done. So right now, no. Ask me in 5 years.
Okay. Well, we'll ask you in like 5 minutes, because when we get back from the break, we're going to dive into Ashley's business and what it's like being a woman navigating this hot field. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We'll be right back. Welcome back to 30 Minutes with Everyone. We are with Ashley Bertling of Pyrotechniq.
Bow, bow, bow.
Yeah, well, I don't even have to add the air horn now. You did it for me. So kind of describe for me, what did you do before you owned this business?
So before I owned the business, I was a full-time college student pursuing a degree in education. And after that, I ended up bookkeeping.
And you're like, I found out quick that first graders can't twirl fire.
Yeah, they're just not as coordinated.
So when did you, because this started out as like, as I was doing research on you, you had something called Fiowa.
That's true.
What is Fiowa? Because I love the word blending. too. We got to give a shout out to Iowa. They don't get enough love.
They
you know?
don't. They don't, but that's home. Love you, Iowa.
That's home. So what is Fiowa?
So Fiowa is the first group that I created. It started with me attending the rave scene in Iowa.
Wait a minute.
There is one. It's there.
Where?
Well, it's not at the club. It's in like some remote cornfield location.
Totally. Okay, got it. Cornfield rave.
Someone's barn.
Okay, perfect. It's not Brooklyn, but we'll take it.
Right. Hey, when you're in Iowa, you get whatever you can get. You'll take it.
Corn-fed raves.
Yes.
Love. I love that.
So I was introduced to glow sticking.
Okay.
And I was entranced by the movements and the look of the lights spinning around. I was like, this is kind of cool.
So glow spinning is probably like a gateway drug to fire spinning.
Absolutely.
Totally.
100%.
Okay. So how did this business evolve? How did you go from Fiowa glow stick girl to like fully aflame, I own my own business?
So I came across a gentleman named Halter.
Okay.
Who approached me at one of these events and said, hey, my sister does all those same moves, but she does it with fire. Hashtag mind blown.
Right.
Like, really? She does it with fire? Thrill seeker in me wants to know exactly what that is. So we fabricate the props. We use hers as a model, a test model, to build all of these off of. And I gave all of these props that I had created with Halter to all of my fellow glow stick friends. So we became a little gang.
Right.
And then we were like, someone's gonna love this, right? So I bet there's got to be someone out there who's going to pay me to do this.
Lots of fire fetishes out there.
So we didn't even know that was a thing.
Wait, so it's a thing.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, you can get your fire haircuts, fire fetishes, all types of weird stuff with fire that happens in the world.
Okay.
So I had this group, and we're like, well, we need a name. So we called ourselves Fiowa, and we put ourselves out to local events that were happening and said, can we come spin fire at your event?
Solid pitch. I'm already interested, yeah.
So it started there. And then it just kept growing, and the costumes started flowing in, and the creativity started to build, and we learned we could set more things on fire and dance with them.
Yeah.
So our arsenal created, and now I think we've got 15 different fire props that we use.
Do you design the props you use?
We used to do a lot more designing than we
Okay.
currently do, because now there's a market in the United States where you can actually purchase them. When I first started, you had to ship everything from Australia if you didn't want to make it yourself.
What has been the best tool you have had or learned that gave you the best shot at success?
It would have to be the inspiration, I think, that came from the local Burning Man community. They are a group of people who just takes whatever's in their mind and they put it together. And to see someone build a 30-foot statue and throw it on Kickstarter and get more than their asking amount funded to them goes, there's got to be a market for this. Just keep doing you. Keep being yourself, and someone's going to want it.
How important is it to remain authentic when you are trying to sell a business that is literally selling yourself?
It's the most important thing. You have to remain authentic. There's a little bit of give and take in the authenticity. There are some shows that we do that I'm not exactly excited about, but it's important to remain authentic.
What have you learned about yourself in building a business?
That I am capable of doing much more than I thought I was.
What has been like the highest goal you've achieved that you thought maybe 10 years ago, like no way?
Well, I'm currently licensed as a pyrotechnician.
That's crazy.
And in a male-dominated industry, to be
Yeah.
licensed as a pyrotechnician with the flame effects is something, I didn't even know existed or that I would ever do.
Right.
But it's the requirement to keep it legal. So I went and studied code and took the test and passed with flying colors.
Do you ever feel like you had to prove yourself in this business?
I would say that I've had to prove myself in this business. When I walk into a room that's for testing purposes or for training purposes, I'm the only female who's in the room, and I do get some looks like, what's she doing here? She looks awfully nice and well dressed to be handling all of these, flammable apparatuses.
Right.
But I think in the end, once I get to talking to them, they It's just all accepted. I
Right.
don't think I've had too big of a problem.
Anything you'd do over?
I'd have gotten licensed sooner.
Okay. Yeah, maybe like stop breaking the law a little sooner.
Yeah.
It's the rebel in you, though. It's the thrill
Right.
seeker.
It's true.
You just really wanted that warrant. You know, you wanted it. What would you tell a prospective entrepreneur who's maybe thinking about starting their own business? Because anyone who's watched Shark Tank knows it's daunting.
You're an get the out of here.
It is extremely daunting. Leave no rock unturned.
Okay.
From the political rocks to the networking rocks to the personal social networks, all of it. Leave nothing unturned. Make sure you dot all your I's and cross all your T's.
Have you ever been surprised by like someone who reached out with interest?
Yeah. I mean, we do so many different types of shows and events, and it's because people are asking us
And
to
you're
be
like
a part of
national
it.
act. Like
Yeah.
you're touring.
We were just in Dallas a few days ago, taking part in this Herbalife qualifying event. We perform at a lot of colleges across the United States. So we were just in, where was that? South Dakota.
Oh, wow.
So in the middle of nowhere, South Dakota.
Huge flame scene there.
Yes, huge flame scene. It's
Flamers left
usually
and right.
propane over there, but they loved it.
So when we get back from the break, we're going to twirl here. You don't want to miss that. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to 30 Minutes with everyone. We are with Ashley Bertling of Pyrotechniq. And they twirl fire, you guys. And I'm very intimidated. And just starting out, I'm wondering how much training is required before you actually get to set that hula hoop aflame?
That depends on how well you take to it.
Okay.
There's really no by-the-book time frame. Under my tutelage, you've got about 8 weeks before I give you flame, just to experience it. But if you're trying to take this to the stage, you're not likely going to bring anything to the stage unless you've been performing for 1 to 2 years.
Okay, I feel like I've been giving you flame all morning, though. You know what I mean?
Got you.
What does it feel like to twirl fire? Well, what do you feel on the inside?
Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Totally.
Well, you feel like Gandalf.
Okay, okay, got it. Done.
Flame of Udon!
The thing you wouldn't expect when you twirl fire is the sound.
What does it sound like?
It's this whooshing sound that encompasses you. It's this multi-sensory experience that you are not expecting. And that's why I like to give people fire at around 8 weeks to 12 weeks when they're learning, because they'll carry that with them. And you
Okay.
feel the heat. When you don't have fire, you think you can do all of these moves, and the second you light it on fire, your brain just blanks. You go, everything I learned, I don't remember.
What's the relationship like between two people who have to twirl fire together?
It is strong.
Okay.
It is a very personal, strong relationship.
Okay.
Because the trust has to be there. You
Okay.
look each other in the eyes and you know you're not going to burn me and I'm not going to burn you.
Okay.
Right? So
Do you trust me?
I trust you.
Okay. The trust is alive. We're going to twirl. Give us 2 seconds. So we've got huskies on a string. They're not aflame, but we're going to learn 3 basic fire twirling techniques.
Yes.
Okay. So hit me with that first one, Ashley.
We're going to start with a hip reel into a shoulder reel. But in order to learn these, we're going to take some of the language out. We're going to start by pretending we are skiing down a mountain.
Okay.
So we're skiing, but we've got wheels.
I'm skiing.
Skiing.
Got 1 foot forward. Got it.
And you're going down the hill, so you're going to tuck your poles underneath of your elbows. Perfect.
Sweet.
So step 1. Now, step 2. When you tuck those poles, rotate 180 degrees. So we're going to tuck the poles and rotate.
Okay.
Hey, check you out.
Wow.
Being fabulous over there. So,
Imagine if these were on fire, we'd all be dead.
you are far too flammable. That jacket's far too flammable to be on fire. So, after you tuck the poles and you rotate, we're going to turn into a samurai.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to tuck our samurai swords behind our back and do that same 180-degree rotation.
Got it. Just some casual cultural appropriation today. Love it. So we are skiing. We turn, swinging back.
There you go.
I'm a samurai
Now turn
on fire.
and whoop chow.
Okay. So everyone, clearly I'm talented in this biz. That was just a basic turn.
Yeah, hip reel into shoulder.
So the next thing you have for me is some over the head action.
Yes.
So if you're doing this at home, wear a helmet. It's not going to be cute. Okay, let's concuss myself. Go.
All right. So for this one, you are going to get your poi spinning clockwise,
There we go.
There you go.
Oh no. Is this clockwise?
counterclockwise.
Yep.
Clockwise works too.
What's time?
Not much.
Time is a circle.
So when your poi hit the 6 o'clock on your personal clock,
Yeah.
what you're going to do is you're going to lift both of your wrists to your shoulders.
Okay. And we're counterclockwise. And at 6.
Closer, 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 closer.
This is really hard.
It is hard.
Okay. Do it again.
Okay, so we're here. Ta-da.
One more.
There you go.
Bounce. It's all in the knees.
It is in the knees. It's very much that helps you get your timing.
Yep.
So once you bounce your knees, you're going to lift your hands just to your shoulders.
Kind of. I feel like my left hand is.
Yeah, you have to look at the left hand like
This
it's
is
a toddler
fire
not
hazard.
doing it. You just got to watch it like a toddler who's
it.
not behaving. The second you look
Oh.
at it, it just starts listening a little better.
Kind of. Okay. This next one requires the ultimate trust,
Ultimate
which
trust.
is the partner poi. These are poi.
These are poi.
Technically, well, kind of.
Yes.
So, partner poi is what?
Partner poi is two people spinning poi together, either in sync or in an interwoven fashion, where you weave your arms together.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
So we are going to start with a pass. So you're going over, and I'm going to go under.
Okay, I'm
When
gonna
I
stop
say
spinning while I-
over,
Yeah.
because you're spinning forward, you're going to go over my shoulders,
Okay.
and we're going to rotate. Whoop.
Oh wow.
So just like this pass that we did
That's like a
with
middle school
ourselves,
dance. I was so nervous.
like this.
Yeah.
Should we dance?
Perfect. This is where I feel safest. This is already kind of dangerous for me. I'm not as much of a rebel as you. Okay. So
Don't worry, we'll work on that.
Okay. So we're going forward, and then I go over your shoulders.
Over my
And
shoulders.
we rotate. Okay.
Then you come out the other side,
Yeah, unscathed.
unscathed.
Okay.
No fire here.
Let's attempt this one more time.
Okay, one.
Am I too wide?
No,
This is what I
you'll
asked
be
my
okay.
trainer too.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
Partner boy. Okay. Yeah.
So when you go over my shoulders, you want to actually make a little contact. So we got to get closer, right?
Okay.
You want to?
Oh, we're hugging. Okay.
We're gonna hug.
Breast
Let's
to
hug it
breast.
out.
Breast
Hug it
to
out.
breast.
Yes.
Got it.
Ready?
Okay. Third time's a charm.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Partner boy.
That was the best.
Kind of.
So
We
far,
would-
that was the
I
best
think
one.
that was only a third-degree burn. Is what I would have gotten on that
Yeah.
one. Totally fine.
You're fine.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for taking the time today to teach me how to. No, I'm not someone who's to be twirling fire. So that dream has been squashed for me. But I really do appreciate you joining us on 30 Minutes With.
Thank you for having me,
Thank
Cody.
you so much.